The most important catalytic property of transition elements is Wilkinson catalyst. Wilkinson catalyst. This question already they are asked in JEE mains. For JEE mains, it is very, very important as well as NEET and CET examination. What is Wilkinson catalyst? Wilkinson catalyst name is PH3. PPH3. P means phosphorus. PH means phenyl group. How many are there? 3. Whole 3 means this 3 for complex compounds. PPH3, triphenyl phosphine. Triphenyl phosphine is one molecule completely. Okay, is bonded with rhodium. Like how many 3 are there? That's what is called tris. Triphenyl phosphine rhodium 1 chloride. What is the oxidation state of this rhodium in this complex? +1. That's why tris triphenyl phosphine rhodium 1 chloride. See in this complex compound, how many PH3? P molecules are present 3 and 1 chlorine is present. So total 4 atoms or molecules are bonded surround with rhodium. That's why its coordination number is 4. Its coordination number is 4. But these all are very strong. Tris triphenyl phosphine. PH3P, triphenyl phosphine molecules are strongly bonded with rhodium. That's why those are called strong ligands. Due to the presence of strong ligands and its coordination number is 4, then its hybridization is DsP2 hybridization. DsP2 hybridization, square planar geometry. Square planar geometry. This is very, very important. What is the hybridization of Wilkinson catalyst? DsP2 hybridization, and geometry is square planar geometry. DsP2 hybridization is present, then its geometry belongs to square planar geometry. We will discuss deeply about that all hybridizations and geometries in complex compounds chapter, because these transition elements mostly they are forms complex compounds. They forms complex compounds. That also we will discuss the next property. Okay, so what is the use of this triphenyl phosphine? Rhodium chloride, triphenyl phosphine, tris triphenyl phosphine, rhodium 1 chloride or Wilkinson catalyst. Main importance is it is used for the hydrogenation of isolated double bonds instead of conjugation and isolation. Let's see. These double bonds are double bond, single bond, double bond. Alternatively, double bonds are present. It is called conjugated double bonds. These double bonds, see, these two are in conjugation, but it is in isolation. Means it is separated. There is no conjugation. So isolated double bonds are present, and isolated double bonds on hydrogenation in the presence of Wilkinson catalyst converted into single bond. So especially Wilkinson catalyst is used for the hydrogenation of isolated double bonds into single bond. Isolated double bond into single bond. Okay. So that is one important transition metals catalyst. Tris triphenyl phosphine rhodium chloride is known as Wilkinson catalyst. Is known as Wilkinson catalyst. Next, parasulfate H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, is called Pentone's reagent. Is called a Pentone's reagent. What is the oxidation state of iron? Is +2 state. So iron is present in +2 state. It acts as an oxidizing agent. It oxidizes alcohols into aldehydes. Pentone's reagent. It oxidizes primer alcohols into aldehydes and benzene into phenol. That is the importance of Pentone's reagent. Next, palladium chloride, PdCl2. Palladium chloride is known as, generally the palladium chloride catalyst is known as Wacker's catalyst, and that reaction is known as Wacker's process. So in that Wacker's process, PdCl2 acts as a catalyst. Palladium chloride acts as a catalyst, is used for the oxidation of double bonds into corresponding carbonyl compounds or aldehydes. Oxidation of double bonds into corresponding aldehydes or ketones. Corresponding aldehydes are ketones. And we know this nickel, familiar catalyst, nickel catalyst is used for the hydrogenation of double bonds into single bonds or hydrogenation of oils. Oils means what? Oils are the unsaturated hydrocarbons are called oils. That unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons known as fats. Saturated hydrocarbons known as fats. Means for catalytic hydrogenation of oils into fats or unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons. Nickel acts as a catalyst or nickel is used as a catalyst. Nickel is used as a catalyst. See, these are the very important catalytic properties of transition metals or transition metal ions. Transition metal ions. Okay, clear? Just check mark, everyone. Okay, next very important transition metals. Our transition metals formed compounds. One important property is their transition metals can form easily complex compounds. Okay, let's see formation of complex compounds. Formation of complex compounds. See, complex compounds already after D and F block elements, the next important chapter is complex compounds. So the complex compounds mostly which atoms are forming transition metals only. Transition metals can able to form complex compounds very easily. What are the important reasons for the formation of complex compounds? What are the important characteristics for the formation of complex compound? In order to form complex compounds, any metal means mostly transition state metals or transition metals, not transition state. Transition metals are D block elements. D block elements are transition metals or transition elements. Mostly forms complex compounds. What are the reasons for the formation of complex compounds? Means the first one is transition metals or D block elements are small size, having transition metals can easily forms complex compounds. Because the first one is having small size. Small atomic size or a small atomic radius. The second one is availability of vacant n-1d orbitals. Availability of vacant n-1d orbitals. Because the n-1d orbitals, vacant n-1d orbitals are present, or partially filled d orbitals are present, or partially filled or unpaired electrons present in d orbitals also present. So due to the presence of availability of vacant n-1d orbitals and having small size and high nuclear charge, the transition metals can easily form complex compounds. See, complex compound generally represented by using square brackets. Using the square brackets. See examples. You know very well, cobalt is bonding with 6 ammonia molecules. Hexaamine cobalt plus 3 or CONH3 6 times Cl3. Hexaamine cobalt 3 chloride. Hexaamine cobalt 3 chloride. NiCl6 4 minus means nickel in cluster oxidation state. Or NiH2O 6 times Cl2. For example, copper. Copper is bonded with 4 ammonia molecules. Tetraammonium copper sulfate. Copper 2 sulfate. Like they forms easily complex compounds. They forms easily complex compounds. Why means because of small size, availability of vacant n-1 d orbitals and high nuclear charge. High nuclear charge present on the metal atom means the positive charge increases on transition metals, their size will be decreases and polarizing power. Polarizing power increases. Then the transition metal can bind more number of molecules. Can bind or can attract more number of molecules. Because they contain availability of vacant n-1 d orbitals. Vacant n-1 d orbitals are present on transition metal ions due to the presence of high nuclear charge. Then the bonded atoms or ions or molecules, they are ready to donate pair of electrons. They forms day-2 bonds. They forms day-2 bonds. That's why such type of compounds are called complex compounds. Such type of compounds are called complex compounds. Again, we discuss about the properties of the complex compound, their structure and geometry, and everything we will discuss in complex compounds chapter. But here, for the properties of transition elements, the transition elements forms complex compounds. What are the important reasons for the formation of complex compounds? Means these 3 important reasons. These 3. What are those? Small size, availability of vacant n-1 d orbitals, high nuclear charge. High nuclear charge. Okay. Few examples for complex compounds. Okay. Next property. The next property is formation of alloys. Formation of alloys. See, transition metals can easily form alloys or D block elements. All are metals. What are the alloys? Alloys means what are the alloys? Alloys means it is the homogeneous. Homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture of 2 or more than 2 metals, either 2 or more than 2 metals or 1 metal and non-metal are metalloids. Metalloids forms Metalloids called as alloys. Means alloys are the homogeneous mixtures. Either two metals or more than two metals, you have to take copper, zinc, copper, tin, like, or copper, chromium, nickel. Okay, iron, chromium, nickel, like different two or more than two metals. Or that a metal combined with non-metals or metalloids also forms alloys. The alloys should be homogeneous mixture, means homogeneous nature. Like solutions. See, solution salt water and sugar water. Is it homogeneous solution or not? Homogeneous nature. But water and petrol or water and benzene is heterogeneous because both are not intermixing with each other. But the two are more than two metals are metal and metalloid or metal and non-metal. They are combined to form a homogeneous mixture is known as alloys. Why alloys are forming, man? Why we are making alloys? Why? Because compare the pure metals, alloys having more melting points. Compared to pure metals, alloys having what are the important properties of alloys? Compared to the metals, alloys having more melting points. Alloys having a more melting point, having malleable having more malleability nature, ductility nature. Malleability means drawn into the seats and ductility means drawn into the wires when compared to the pure metals. And having corrosion nature or rusting nature means they have the alloys can protect from corrosion. Generally, you have to take iron. Iron can rust very easily in the presence of atmosphere. But alloy, steel is the alloy. It can't rust immediately. Means it cannot be converted into rust. Means the protective of corrosion, protective from corrosion. So that's why we are making alloys. Ductile in nature, then it's pure metal. Examples, see the examples: brass, copper plus zinc is known as brass. Bronze, copper plus tin is called bronze. Stainless steel, iron or ferrous, chromium plus nickel, and some non-metal, carbon is also present, is known as stainless steel. Like bell metal and gunpowder, like different types of alloys are present. So the alloys mainly, what is the importance of alloy? Pure state, the metal is present in pure state, its corrosion nature is more, means it can be converted into rust very easily, just iron only. So for protection of corrosion, what we are doing for iron metals, just we are doing paintings or we are applying some oils like. So that's why, and compared to that pure metal, alloys having more melting points, and we can drawn into the wires and drawn into the seats because of they having malleable property as well as ductility nature. Ductility nature when compared to that pure metals. That's why we are transition metals are used for the making of alloys. They forms alloys. Alloys means homogeneous mixture of two or more than two metals. is known as a alloys. Few examples only I'm discussed here. Alloys again, that combinations and all we'll discuss in metallurgy chapter. There I'll give you chart metallurgy or extraction of metals. Okay, understood? Okay, student. Next property of transition metals or transition elements. Let's see. Formation of interstitial compounds. This is very important one. Formation of interstitial compounds. Formation of interstitial compounds. Already interstitial compounds are interstitial hydrides. Already earlier only we discussed in hydrogen and its compounds in first PUC. Same way, interstitial compounds. Interstitial compounds means small atoms. Small atoms like boron, hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen atoms. Small atoms like boron, hydrogen, carbon and nitrogen present in the interstitial site means vacant site or vacant place present in the metals. Metals are in the crystalline state. During that crystalline formation, in between the metal atoms, they have some small holes are present in the interstitial holes of the transition metals. Transition metals known as interstitial compounds. Okay. See some examples related to interstitial compounds. Titanium carbide, Fe 0.98O, ferrous oxide, but they are not present in 1:1 ratio. Some few ferrous ions are missed from their lattice points or lattice positions. That's why FeO, titanium carbide, as well as manganese carbide, iron hydride. See, these are some examples of interstitial compounds. Transition metals mostly forms interstitial compounds because the transition metals having in their lattice structure or in their crystalline structure, they having some holes are present. That holes are known as interstitial sites or interstitial holes. In that interstitial holes, that places are occupied by the small atoms like boron, hydrogen, carbon and nitrogen. Boron is present, those are called interstitial borides. Hydrogen is present, those are called interstitial hydrides. Carbon is present, interstitial carbides. Like that interstitial compounds are forming. So in that interstitial compounds, the atoms ratio is not in the perfect. That's why these are the non-stoichiometric compounds. Non-stoichiometric compounds. Interstitial compounds are non-stoichiometric compounds because the atoms are not exist in the fixed ratio. The atoms are not exist in the fixed ratio. So interstitial compounds also called as non-stoichiometric compounds. Non-stoichiometric compounds. Clear, na? Let's see. What are the important properties of interstitial compounds? Properties of interstitial compounds. Let's see. First one, they have high melting points. Interstitial compound, due to the presence of small atoms like boron, carbon and nitrogen present in their interstitial holes, they are having high melting points. The melting point is more than the pure metal. It is more than its pure metal. Okay. The second one is they are very hard. Very hard. For example, interstitial borides, means boron is present, those are called interstitial borides. Interstitial borides are very hard, similar to diamond. Very hard and similar to diamond. Okay. And one more property is they are chemically inert. Chemically inert nature means that reactivity is very less, and their metallic conductivity retains same. Like pure metals. See, pure metals are very good conductors of electricity. Transition metals are acts as a good conductors of electricity. The same way, interstitial compounds also acts as a good conductors. Their conductivity is same like pure metals. Pure metals are how they act as a good conductors of electricity. The same way these are also acts as a good conductors. Their resistance is same. That's why their metallic conductivity retains same like pure metals. So these are the important properties of interstitial compounds. These are the important properties of interstitial compounds. Check mark at all points once. Okay. Next, one more important property of transition elements is the formation of color compounds. Means transition elements formed compounds are transition metal compounds, are transition metals in their compounds having color nature. Means transition metal containing compounds means copper sulfate, you see. Hydrated copper sulfate in our chemistry lab we know very well. Hydrated copper sulfate crystals. What is the color? Blue color is present. Manganese chloride MnCl2, pale pink color is present. Nickel Ni, nickel or strontium chloride, nickel chloride, or nickel sulfate, nickel salts. What is the color of nickel salts? Pale green color. Green color is present. Nickel is present in a nickel in +2 state. Its electronic configuration is D8. They contains 2 unpaired electrons. See, nickel salts, copper salts. Those salts are having color. Manganese salts, MnCl2, Mn+3 state, Mn+6 state. They having different colors. So transition metal ions in their compounds exhibits color. What is the main reason and why they exhibiting color? The transition metal compounds exhibiting color. What are the important reasons we need to discuss? That is called color properties. Okay, transition metal ions exhibits a color. What are the important reasons for the formation of color? Okay, that very important for NEET and JEE and CET examination. This is important for board examination. Okay, and why transition elements forms complex compounds? What are the important reasons? That reasons also important for board examination. Clear, students? Okay, let's see color properties. See, again the color properties we are discussing complex compounds there also. What are the main reasons? Complete information we will get. Okay, but however we need to remember and we need to learn in this chapter also, because it is the property of transition metals. It is the property of transition metals. Formation of color. Compounds. Okay, let's see. Transition metal ions in their compounds exhibits or in their compounds having color. Color due to what are the important reasons? Transition metal ions in their compounds having color is due to the first one, presence of unpaired electrons. Presence of unpaired electrons in d orbitals. See, due to the presence of unpaired electrons in d orbitals, that what happens when the unpaired electrons are transferred from one energy level to another energy levels of d orbitals. That is called dd transitions, and they involves in dd transitions. dd transitions. dd transitions. It is very important. Due to the presence of unpaired electrons, they involves in dd transitions. Then the transition metal ions in their compounds having color. So that color also how they are exhibiting the transitions are under present in visible region. Visible range or visible region. So due to the presence of visible region, the transitions they having color. They having a color. Okay. So for this transition, dd transitions, the main important property is presence of unpaired electrons. Now see transition metal ions. The transition metal ions having unpaired electrons, they absorb transition metal ions absorbs visible range energy, then the electrons, the unpaired electrons undergoes DD transitions. So whenever it absorbs energy and after that it undergoes DD transitions, again it releases energy. Undergoes DD transitions. Then the emitted energy is also in visible range, hence appears as color. Okay, absorbed and emitted energies are both complementary colors. Absorbed and emitted colors are energies. Both are complementary nature. What is meaning for complementary nature, ma? For example, absorb energy is more. Absorbed color absorbed energy is more. Energy is more means lambda is less, wavelength is less, and emitted energy, what happens now? Emitted energy is low. The wavelength is more. For example, Vibgyor